So recently I have been doing a small group at my house on control and the need for control and how it gives us anxiety and unrest. And as a trainer, as a coach, anybody that has any kind of leadership over anybody else or influence over anybody else, this is a bit of advice that will probably save you a lot of stress, and that is to stop trying to control other people and their choices. And that is so hard for me, as I am always trying to help people make better decisions with their health and their fitness and their overall lifestyle habits. But most people do not like change. It's uncomfortable, so it's natural for us to gravitate away from change. So someone has to want to change before they will change. And one of my biggest lessons in life, in my adult life, has been that I cannot change anyone. I can't control what they do. It has been a huge giver of peace to me whenever I can let that go, and whenever I can recognize who's ready to change and who's not. I have a simple conversation with someone and I can tell pretty much right away if they have a growth mindset and they're receptive of what I'm saying, or if they're still in victim mentality where they have an excuse for everything, and I'm going to call it an excuse. Like, we all have excuses, and they're all valid excuses, most of them, but they have a problem for every solution. Does not matter what you say, they have a problem for every solution. And I am very resourceful. Like, I can figure out ways to get things done with little resources. I have done that my whole life. And so I can quickly suggest things to other people. But when people have a problem for every solution offered, they're just not ready to change. So I always try to be respectful of people and where they're at. But I also have a boundary with myself and with other people that I am not going to stress myself out over that person's unwillingness to change. So I will just casually say, okay. Because whether that person ever chooses to change or not is beyond me, and it's beyond my control. And the only thing that I can do for that person is to pray for them and be an example for them and be support for them. But ultimately, it is their choice to do anything with information that's provided to them. We have quite a bit of people living in conditioned mindsets. They grew up a certain way, and it is extremely hard to break those mindsets as adults. And so the best thing that I can do is just be patient with people, provide them information and support. And it's just ultimately up to them what they do with it. So if you are any type of coach, leader, employer, parent, anything where you have any influence over anybody else, which is pretty much most adults, you have some type of influence over other people, whether it's just coworkers, whatever it is. And you have something to offer them that they need, but they may not be receptive of it yet. The best thing that you can do is to just be that influence and lead by example. You will not change anyone by arguing and getting upset and getting emotional over anything. That is beyond you. And when we hear lead by example, a lot of times we think, oh, I have to be perfect and do everything right. And I used to be that way too. I had to do everything perfect because who's going to listen to me if I'm not doing it perfectly and executing everything just right? But honestly, people are more receptive to you when you have your own shortcomings and you fail at things too sometimes, and you're not perfect, or you leave margin to not be perfect. Like, people need to see that and hear that, because I think what keeps a lot of people from stepping out and making a change at all is the fact that they think that they need to do it perfectly and that everyone's watching them and waiting for them to fail and be judged for it. Just lead by example and be there for support and show people that you're not exactly perfect either. Just be authentic. Because when that day comes that they're ready to change, you're the first person that comes to their mind.